So you're close enough. You could probably understand a lot of Tagalog, or you'd randomly understand words in Tagalog. To be honest, there's a
That's what
weird mix.
happens.
Yeah, like a sentence comes in, then suddenly there's one word in Spanish, and it's like, what are they saying? Why do
Yes.
I partially understand this? We're weird people, man. Our history is just funny. We're funny people. That's all it is.
Paalam, John. Paalam, my friend.
Alam, yes, no problem.
That's the one word I've learned. Let's get into the game. Thank you so much for the educational lesson, but we have an exciting game in front of us. We've talked a lot about the strength of EG's lineup, and you talked about the playmakers in Execration, but give me a couple of strengths. Give me some copium for this team and what they can do besides playing around Tino and Bob that you think is good about this lineup that EG might be missing or lacking.
It still ties down to like that level 6 tempo they'll get, like Kisses plus Roar, along with Arrow plus Chains, or Chains plus Arrow. I think that's where you really shine. In fact, I kind of think you just enable Bob as much as you can from the mid. If you can get timings for Carlo to dip out and just look for these opportunities to play with Chains Arrow, apply some slight pressure to Underlord because it's really hard to shove him out. You just kind of do that and try to give as much as you can on the start for Bob. I do feel like the rotations from EG are strong, but you are pretty slow in moving. Like, you don't really expect Panda to run up early on. It's pretty telegraphed when CM is missing that long in the lane. Whereas in comparison, at the least, Mirana can get onto the mid really fast. So I think you just try to use that for Execration. Maybe try to build up some stacks as well. You can clear them out in Tino, and that should rush up your timing as well for aura items, which can make this game a little bit harder. Like, the one thing with the AM is it does have pretty decent pacing once you have Battle Fury plus your main item up, but you tend to get delayed with, say, a Vanguard. If Bakas does opt for, that usual durability disassembly play. So there's a little extra time for Execration to try to find and apply that pressure onto the AM early on, if that is the case.
Yeah, do you think that's the choice for this game? You would like a Vanguard on the AM to disassemble?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
Like, I don't think you're getting as much value, even though it's a Beastmaster, but you're not really the target being run down by Boris and the big creep anyway, when he does have his Dominator up. So I don't think you need to. But
okay.
It feels like in general, AMs just pick it up just to have that little extra HP on the rotation in. So just in case they are jump, it's like security for them to have on hand.
Right. I do want to touch on this mid lane matchup as well. It's a matchup that most people probably have not seen very often, but EG loves running this against the Ember. They think Underlord is the biggest counter, which everyone's like, okay, bro, it's not a mid hero, but whatever. You do you. And we see Bob actually choosing to go for the Flame Guard. We talked that he might not ignore Searing Chains. Oh, wait, sorry, bottom lane, Pakas. He's fine. We thought that he might not ignore Searing Chains, but you did say that using them around to gank Underlord seems kind of impossible. Do you think this might be a lane where he just flame guards and you ignore the Underlord as much as possible to secure farm?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that too much. Like, you just go for maybe a 0-3-2. Yeah. Jump back in. A 0-3-2 build doesn't feel too bad. I think the inactivity will punish you once you do rotate on Bob. So he will need that skill point sooner rather than later. I think a 1-3-1 build might still be more safe for the actual tempo in the game.
Right, because you want Bob to be the tempo maker this game. That's something you care about. Okay. That makes sense. And who does he play with? Do you do like Bob Shanks, Tino ganking squad? Let Mirana secure the lane?
Yeah, maybe that's one way to go around. I still think it's important to drag Carlo in to play with the Ember. And Tino generally actually soaks up a lot of farm for Execration. Like, it's Bob who runs around, Tino farms until he's ready. Bob just gets going when he hits 6 or 7.
Right.
So I'm expecting it to be Bob and Carlo once more with Shanks on top, but adding a little bit of that magic damage. My issue there is there are times when Execration does focus in on those rotations so much that their support levels get sacrificed if the kills don't come out, and that's where things get a lot dicey, so they have to pick and choose those fights really well in Execration.
Right. Okay. We'll see how that advances. For now, the lanes are actually going pretty well for Execration, particularly the top lane where Palos is destroying Whisper. Do you expect this matchup to go this way? Is Batrider usually decent against Morphling? How do you find that?
I'd say it's not too unexpected. I think Batrider can like harass a Morphling fairly well, but the Morphling just has such an easy time CSing. You already have the early magic wands. Well, it's hard for Matthew to get on top. Well, no.
Yeah, he was very close to dying. Sorry, Seasma almost got him just with auto attacks. Bob living life on the edge once again. He loves this. Bob really likes to get as close to this as possible. But he's not going to die because he just got the last bottle charge and will survive this onslaught of C-Smile's auto attacks. Not much you can do as Underlord to actually force a kill. You just kind of harass him out of lane.
Yeah, he just keeps spamming out that Firestorm. They're gonna
Look at this.
tussle a little bit, but Bob at least finds his rune. And he's still staying. That's the nutty part. He will TP now, but just back his tower. And he'll find another rune. There you go. That's how he played.
Yep, yeah, that's how you play the Ember versus Underwood. I mean, honestly, he's doing a pretty okay job considering how difficult this matchup is. I can't understate how difficult it is for Ember to play. So as time goes on, he does go for the 2-2 for now. We'll see if he goes for the final point in Syrian Chains afterwards to play with a Mirana, or if he chooses to just enable his own game, which is a very Bob kind of play. As in the bottom lane, Tino, he is being harassed a fair amount. We have a blink now, and because of the mana break, he's slowed, but Shanks gets a nice scatter blast, which saves his teammate and puts Shanks in trouble instead. Tino summons the boar, and now they'll both be safe. Good team play here, understanding that nobody's going to die in this lane if they play it correctly.
But this is almost a runaway lane for Pekaz. Like, sure, Tino is farming up, but it does feel maybe a little bit better for Pekaz to actually hit this early farm timing. Like, for now, he's not queuing up the Vanguard. He has his Ring of Health going into the Power Treads. If he's allowed to just go straight Battle Fury, there's not much Tino can do to stop it. Again, Tino tends to just sit back and farm.
He might die. He used the Fairy Fire here. Bob is chasing him down 6 more seconds for the next Light of Fist. C-Smile playing life on the edge, much like Bob. But here's the rotation from Matthew. Let's see if we can find Bob. No, he's just here to secure C-Smile's life and make sure he can reach a rune. I'm not really sure where C-Smile's going, actually. The slug is lost.
Yeah,
bottom
just
lane.
juking around.
There's also a little bit of harassment to Pakas, who's forced to blink away. He's going to be fine.
I'm loving the back and forths. Lots of pokes from both sides, but also a lot of discipline to not overcommit, not dive. Don't get too crazy, which both sides are kind of known for getting a little bit crazy sometimes. It's much more measured here, which is always good to see. I think for Tino, maintaining his harassment with the Axis is a little bit tough. He does have the Arcane Boots up, but without the Basilius, like, you're not able to spam out as much. The levels start to go up. You've got the value point and counter spell for Pekaz, so the harassment and Axis, even the harassment out from your snap bar, doesn't feel as snappy, as unfortunate as it is for me to make a pun there for the side of Execration. So, again, just a passive lane, which Pekaz is starting to pull ahead from, and I'm wondering how active Tino will want to be, and he just has this tendency on the off to farm a little bit longer than most offlaners. He doesn't leave his lane until he's, like, really set on the item. So Dominator timing maybe, or the aura timing for him, and it's just more passive time. And again, you look at Bob, you look at his laning start, he's not that ready to run around as well, especially since, again, no chains, so no connection with Mirana. It is all about farming for Execration.
How strong do you think that timing of Dominator is, considering you have a Frostbite on the other side from the CM? You can just stop the creep forever.
Not the biggest. It's not the biggest timing for Tino. If you will just dip back into it, I think it might arguably be better to just go for the aura play.
What do you think aura play? What do you mean with that?
I think just a mech. Maybe just, try to be the mech carrier for the team. Or if you really want to, be aggressive, maybe like a drums.
Okay.
Just to run down. I don't think you get a lot of value from it, but the added move speed chase could be helpful in trying to lock in these heroes.
You don't think
Bob
Helm
is
will be
scouting
overload?
around here.
Rushing the Helm?
I think it's still fine, but if you were looking for activity, it's definitely not the play. Ooh.
He messed up the flame break play. Bob actually got him with a spirit, and now Bob, he wants a high five, sleight of fist, last spirit. Gets the kill on Whisper. They're on point. Whisper could not get rid of Bob, and now Matthew is trying to kill him with the help of Panda as well. They have a Frostbite. They know Bob is out of spirits. It's a very classic Bob play, but with the help of Carlo, they're going to divide his battery assault. In comes C-Smile as well. Bob very close to dying. They don't have the last bit of damage though. Carlo's led to the neutrals, but that's okay. He sacrificed himself so Bob can live. We have cogs on Matthew, but they can't reach him quite yet.
A regen!
As Bob gets the regen rune on his way out, and he'll be safe. The Madman gets away with murder here.
That is just nutty.
Bottom lane, there's a Primal Roar also committed to Pakas, but Pakas is tanky enough. He's not going to die. He did not go for the Vanguard, just straight treads into Battlefield.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Again, not the highest value Vanguard game, considering that no one's rotating onto you as well. You probably don't need the added HP. I just want to go back to Bob. I mean, to have all of that line up for you, to have a regen rune on hand on the spawn, you stay in your lane, you get the kill, you're getting active, and as soon as he hits 8, if that is the point where we get the Searing Chains, that's where some more aggression can come out consistently for Execration. So that's where things can maybe get a little bit dicey for EG if you're not careful.
Carlo is hot and cold. He's yes and no. He's finally dead. And they're going to get another kill on this Mirana, who has no TP this time. So we'll have Carlo out of the map for a while. Bob might be forced to play a little bit more defensively while he doesn't have his sacrificial lamb with him.
Just stave off the aggression from Execration just a bit more. And they finally get some punishment out for the movement of Execration up there. Like, they have the sentries down to ensure their camps are open as well on EG's side. So you're not really stopping the stack up that Whisper will eventually eat up for himself. And our Batrider has gone off to a much slower game. I think that is a little bit of a cause of concern. I mean, so has Bob, to be fair. But it does feel like the Ember isn't as hurt. Like, you get Phase Boot or Corrosion, you're still pretty happy with what your Ember can do in these fights. Whereas the Batrider, you know, you're looking for your aura, you're looking for the drums at the least to start running around like a madman. And it's just a little bit slower off the back of that, but your gains elsewhere are just compensating for it. Your aim's free, your Underlord has a free lane.
He's found 2 supports, which will make his life hell. Send him to it, actually. Bob, still playing in a Pit of Malice. That's not the cleverest of plays. Bob is actually baiting C-Smile while taking the rune regardless. Once again, this man likes playing life on the edge, and C-Smile doesn't have much outplay potential with an Underlord. So it's about keeping on hitting and hoping that you calculate it correctly.
Yeah, and that is one thing with the Underlord, right? Like, it dominates lane, but it can't really make too many big plays. I'd argue that your playmaking comes from Fiend's Gate utilization, which, again, I feel like is a lot harder to do than it is to say in practice, to theorize it. Because there's a lot of theories that I love to think about, but Underlord's like, oh, okay, let's smoke up, let's go in this spot, let's drop the Fiend's Gate in the tree line, and guys will pop out, we'll kill them all.
Okay,
but
Avery.
you don't tend to see that too much. You want Avery boards like, yeah, this lane is like really hard to play for the Ember. But,
oh, that's good.
Like, right?
That's very good. Oh,
I got a chuckle out from Avery when I did that to him. Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Cap. I was the best NA player in my time. I'm pretty damn good.
I am very impressed. That's incredible. I swear, I think you're about to abuse me. It sounds just like him. Frostbite in the middle lane. Bob is hit by the Pit of Malice twice. The Cogs keeps him in place. And now, he was playing on the edge a little bit too long. He ends up getting cut by EG. Finally a kill for C-Smile, who will get closer and closer to that timing of the Rod of Atos. Paulo's joined again, covering to make sure he can somewhat sapping his experience. He's going directly for the Lincolns himself.
I don't mind the Lincoln's pickup. I think it's pretty safe when you're up against the Batrider. You're up against a CM. At the very least, you'll have a moment to react and waveform out. If you do notice the pop fast enough, and you know it's not chain stacked correctly on EG's part, so there's a window for Palace to still bail out. It does mean that, again, you're probably just looking for a slower game on Execration. You have to respect the chain hold from EG, and like playing with a pit for their lineup is super easy to do. Once you're clumped up in a bad area, the cogs are there. The slow Nova.
Oh, Panda actually made a bomb into a bad play. Pops out his remnants. He's gonna do Bacchus. Panda gets the tip from Matthew. Hey, no, he denies the illusion rune, and Bob thought easy kill, surely, but the extra armor from the freezing field saves him.
Just a bit aggressive on Bob, and you mentioned that this is something Bob loves to do. So he just goes ham no matter what the state of the game is.
Honestly.
And he's punished. He's bottom network core right now, which is a terrible position for the Ember to be in, despite my arguments that you just need Phase Boot Orb of Corrosion. Guess what? That Orb of Corrosion isn't even up yet. So his output on even the CM is not as strong as you'd want it to be. Execration, nothing's really connecting yet. Like, they do have level 7 on Shank, so Kiss is available with, say, Aurora play from Tino, but really not tying into that. Again, Tino is just camping this bot lane. He has the Dominator, he shoved it in the tower, but he's still looking for farm. Atos up though.
Yeah, Pit of Malice, hookshot as well. Can they cog push back him? No, they're using the frostbite first. Chain, they're done very well. Bob's Sleight of Fist though allows him to get away just barely as C-Smile's residual Firestorm damage gets him down. So Bob dies for a Clockwork. Still a good trade here for EG, but almost got away. Next time, it'll be getting away fully as he gets a little bit more HP. That's all he needs. In the bottom lane, though, the Centaur stuns Bacchus. Bacchus finally gets the Helm of the Dominator creep, and that is what Tino went for, by the way. Just rushing that Helm of the Overlord, not caring about CM, because Panda is busy in the mid.
Yeah, I think it's just down to how Tino plays. He knows he's just camping bot, so why not just farm your way towards the Overlord if you're not going to be showing up anyway? And again, this is one thing Execration does. They buy space for Palos and Tino. Like, if Tino doesn't have a great start, he is also just sitting and farming. And it's really just Bob and the supports kind of engaging with EG at the moment, which, again, it's hurting them in the sense that, well, Bob doesn't have that initial farm. He is rushing the BKB. That'll help the cause, but here comes a smoke play out from EG.
Yeah, see Smile. It's going to start with Oravetos. There's the Pitamalus as well. They can do the same play once again. Frostbite into the Cogs pushback. They don't even need the Cogs. They can use them instead to close Shanks in. As the arrow does hit C Smile. The hook shots will continue to play. They have a last one out ready for Bob. Is the damage here with a freezing field? It is barely getting the kill on Bob as Palos cancels a freezing field. Now thinking of killing Whisper, but settling instead for Matthew, who's happy to sacrifice himself. But the Fiends get here. They have to re-engage. Matthew's already dead. In comes C Smile with a bit of malice. Whisper falls as well. But C Smile feels confident. Wants to kill both Tino and Palos, but he might have bit off more than he could chew, as Panda's now left alone against the Lincolns carrying Palos, and Palos know this little princess is minced meat. Another kill for Execration that now punished the overextension from EG.
That is massive for Execration. Palos just willing to join in, just with the Lincolns. He knows he's more than protected in these fights now. And they had to pop all their control onto Bob because they understand how slippery he is, but they don't expect the Morphling to show up. And Palos just cleans up. This is, again, one of the things that Execration does. They love to drag in Palos when the fight does call for it. Might be overstaying his welcome, but that's a waveform away. Or not.
No, it seems like he's in trouble. I think he might just die like this.
Okay.
Only Matthew and Whisper are needed to kill him off. Surprising. As Palos only has 2 points in attribute shift. Top lane, though, they're trying to do the same thing here. 2 supports against the carries. The revolution is here. The hierarchy has almost been toppled. Fakas in the trees, showcasing why he's the real Palos. He's the real eel, the slippery man, getting away from Execration's onslaught.
And he bailed. Just the wand charge is more than enough to keep him alive. Level 3 counter spells here. Magical Burst is just not bursting the AM at this point in the game. And Execration, I mean, after a big play from Palos, he sneaks in for a bounty and dies because of that. It's one of the things with Execration. They're like one of the most 50-50 teams that you could ask for in Southeast Asia. It's them and like SMG that are like really 50-50 in their plays sometimes. So they get punished. They're still keeping game even, but I think where the farm difference matters is where it gets a little bit scary. Like, sure, you're evening out with Tino and Palos on Crystalk and Whisper, but you're so behind on Bob. You're only ahead in your supports to kind of get that less than 1k lead. They'll try a smoke play.
Oh, Frostbite. Stopping the Ancient. Not as effective though, of course, as if it was a creep. Normal creep. There's Matthew with a hook shot, but he's closed in with a big scary dinosaur who's frostbitten. And they've dealt with it quite nicely. In fact, they're gonna get the kill. So maybe you were right about the Helm of the Overlord not being the play.
It's still effective, but I don't know if Execration are maximizing it well. Like, because you don't have any jump on the Beastmaster, you're depending on perhaps just Bob coming in. When you do run up like that, it's just really easy to break up. Again, think about all the AoE control EG has. Just the cogs there, along with Frostbite, was more than enough to break off that smoke gank from X. And their smoke broke to Panda as well, which is not ideal, but they don't even find a kill off the back of it either. So the movement's just not worthwhile, and for Execration, the one big thing they're having is at least it's space for Palos to farm onto his Manta, but even he might not be safe here.
Palos will have waveform in 1 second. He's gonna lose a lot of mana though, but they don't want to continue this. In fact, it's in the triangle where they're fighting against Panda. The freezing field won't kill anyone, but it did deal a lot of damage to Carlo. And now C-Smile running away from an army of units coming his way. The cookie, that dragon was looking in the wrong direction. C-Smile gets hit by the searing chains into the arrow. He's tanky, but against the Mortimer's Kisses and 5 heroes plus dragon, sorry, 4 heroes, they're gonna get the kill easily.
Finally get a core kill they're going for Execration. They didn't have to sacrifice too much. I think one thing for Crystalk as well, when you do go Underlord with more emphasis on playing with your pit, the Atos, you're not as durable.
No, it's true, and now Whisper is also going to die. Very nice combination of spells here from Execration. As Bob, he's looking for more, and Matthew, he seems like an easy kill here. There's a spirit. The arrow will
Ooh.
connect. Wow. Carlo from downtown. As in the top lane, Bakas is almost killing off Palos. Does have the mana point, but the Lincoln prevents him from using it. So he's just concentrating on killing Bob instead. Here's the Underlord coming in as well, but there's not enough tankies on Bakas to survive this. C-Smile comes in against Bob, who has no mana, utilizing only his auto attacks here. Saved by the Force Step though. And C-Smile says, okay guys, I'm out. It was a joke. I didn't mean to come in. Ignore me.
Just a bit of a prank. You know, you come in, you try to make a play, you bail out. It's all good. You don't lose too well. You lose quite a fair bit, but you trade. Yeah.
This poor CM. Another arrow? No.
Ooh.
Panda was forced to avoid it, but that's going to be enough for the dragon to kill him.
Yeah.
These arrows, though, by Carlo. Man, oof.
They've been on point. Like that last arrow onto Matthew, I don't know how that clipped him. It looked like it should have just flew by his head, but hey, you know, the hitboxes are square. Sometimes you get a pixel out there and just bonks you in the head. And off the back of this push now, Execration are starting to find more control on the map. They still hold onto their mid tier 1, they hold onto their top tier 1. They've taken top and mid themselves, so they've got more leeway to just stand in this triangle, cut off the farm that Pakaz does want to build up. Interestingly enough, Pakaz is going back for the Vanguard now.
Oh, the cookie, the arrow, Pakaz is going to be perma-stunned. Wow, the combo by the supports once again used to kill off Bakas. Here comes Matthew trying to stop the Snapfire, and he does, as Whisper successfully steals the Morphling away. Into the Pit of Malice he goes. They have any more stuns, they don't. The cookie will save him, put him in safety now, as the freezing field is ready. A Panda's been stunned for too long. Panda is going to go down, Whisper together with him, and Matthew joins them in the grave. Just a matter of time before they get the rest of them. It's only C-Smile left. C-Smile running the opposite way from home, because home is where the heroes are. And now he's going to go underground to his grave. Execration get a team wipe.
He is quite tough.
Their aggression's kicking in. Like, they're executing so well on Execration. I love that Palos is actually prioritizing turning into the Underlord of Chris Luck. Like, having that Pit of Malice on their side on Execration as well is just huge. You've got AoE control with your cookie to follow up. You've got the chains to spam out there as well. And they just find a really good angle into that fight. Again, they take control of that triangle off the back of taking that tier 1 top. And they just catch Pakaz trying to farm. He wants to retake that area for his own build-up, but they're not able to angle in this time. They fully commit onto Palos, but he had so many opportunities to bail out. He was just always ready with the attribute shift, and if you can't burst him down before that shift is up, it just doesn't feel like you've got the output unless you melt the mana with the AM. If Pakaz was alive longer to hit Palos and ensure he doesn't get too much of the shift going, could have been a very different story there for Execration.
Now with an Aegis in Execration's hands, what is EG's plan to deal with this Morphling? They've been kind of playing a little bit like headless chickens, not really on their timings, and they've been not successfully taking these fights. Do you now wait for Pakas to get a big item to actually engage next time?
I'm just not sure what the big item for Pakas will be. You know, this is here that doesn't really enjoy going to BKB, but it might feel necessary to just not have to worry about that control.
Bob? Okay, Frostbite? No way, you take enough mana. if you had the Manta style and he committed it, maybe. But it's hard.
Doesn't quite.
Yeah.
Maybe they were also a little bit worried if, with the chains up, maybe Carlos in the air, he's not even remotely close by. They'll find a tier 2 for free on Execration's end. And there's a DD rune spawning as Matthew set fall.
Yeah, not much this guy can do. He bought a 4-step now, so that is going to maybe change things around next initiation. As Pakas kills a courier. Are you the Beastmaster? Well, I just killed your donkey.
Yep. I mean, I guess he's a Beastmaster. You would argue that the donkey is a domesticated animal here, Ava.
But he's a beast.
It's a beast of burden, I suppose.
Yeah, have you never seen a donkey? They are beasts. They are bigger beasts than the monkeys here.
They're pretty adorable. For the most part. I haven't seen any wild ones, but the domesticated ones are docile enough. They're nice.
Yeah, I don't see the wild donkey either. You're right. Except for your casting. No. They're gonna go and try to take this tier 2 tower mid. I think it's gonna be quite easy as Palos is unstoppable right now. The Pommel Roar will show Whisper his place as well. He's stuck halfway through the cog. They're gonna go for Matthew instead. The lasso catches Tino, which is the victim of this engagement. Ipakas joins from the backline, starting to kill off Shanks, and he does succeed. Going for the next support, it's going to be Carlo, who now gets frostbitten and destroyed. Bacchus didn't need any item timings, he just needed the right initiation. Now he's chasing down Palos, who still has the Aegis, so not the great kill. Bob activates the BKB. Hard to finish him off, for C-Smile is definitely chasing after him. They know he's out of remnants, and that's why they're committing so much. There's the Pit of Malice, catches Palos instead, and actually Bob again with BKB, really well timed here, as Pakas lays out the damage, but Shanks interrupts with the cookie. Pakas goes to die, Mamba style dispels some of the damage, and now he can still kill off Shanks, avoiding the adaptive strike in the middle of this fray. Palos, left alone from his tier 2, he doesn't know where to go, where he's safe. They're gonna kill everything around him first, as they retreat Pakas away to make sure he doesn't die to a scary Palos. Palos is capable now of making his way out, but Matthew catches him with a hook shot. Pakas joins yet again after the healing from the Fiend's Gate. The arrow won't connect, but they do save Palos with a force staff. Now the waveform, Palos is safe, and maybe they can turn against Pakas, but they need Tino, and he's not close to the fray just yet. Execration will make sure at least their carry lives through this engagement, or on the second life.
This is what we wanted to see out of both teams, you know? Execration
this
lays onto EG, EG punches back. This is like one of those classic Manny Pacquiao boxing matches. You know, not quite the same nationalities, but you've got, well, I guess Mexico is North American, but Latino versus Filipino action, right?
There we go.
It's almost there, right?
Almost there.
Like it's just a beatdown. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Throwing me back to early 2000s with all these punches thrown out. It's maddening, and they just need to isolate right on EG, right? Like if they jump this backline, if they force an awkward roar coming out from Tino without the follow-up, like that was roar on BKB, so they couldn't follow through with the arrow. Whisper was still free to lasso up, take Tino out of the equation, and just clean up from there. Execration, though, I mean, they're still aggressive. They're still in that bot jungle area. All their cooldowns are off now, but so is EG's.
They go for the smoke themselves because they trust the Lasso and Whisper a little bit more. Lasso that's still level 1, by the way, guys. He's maxed everything else to maximize that damage. We also have a Basher on Bacchus, and he's available with a TP.
Oh.
There's the Lasso for Tino. TP not coming out just yet, but Tino might just die. And hookshot from Matthew. They want to continue this. They're going for the Mirana. Matthew put himself in a difficult position. Will Execration fight back? Apparently the target is Matthew, but with the force staff, he's safe. He's not going to die just yet. Mortimer's Kisses, though, committed fully for this little robot as Searing Chains finishes him off. Now, thanks to the Fiend's Gate, Bacchus can also join, and he has, in fact, but he's just joining for farm right now. As Execration, they run away fast enough, so they won't be caught by the rest of EG.
And Execration, I mean, it's still a big sacrifice to make. You lose Tino, so without the roar again, you just don't want to take that fight. Okay, they find Bacchus.
Yes, that was not something I expected.
No, absolutely not. Maybe expecting the full back from Execration, but they still hang out close enough. They were under wards as well.
Yeah.
That's a strange part. So, Bacchus playing a bit too close to the sun there.
I mean, this support tool from Execration has gotten so many core kills, or setting up for so many core kills, right? I feel like Shanks and Carlo, to me, have been stellar this whole tournament. You know, PC is always known for their great cores, and I feel like some of the supports get overlooked, but Shanks and Carlo should not get overlooked. These two guys deserve all the praise they get.
Absolutely. I mean, I've watched Carlo for such a long time. I've seen him switch from a lot of duos. Before it was like this Carlo, Vincenzo, or BDZ RR duo that looked super good. I felt really bad when that split up, but him and Shanks are just finally in tune as well.
Right.
It's good to see that rise in form back for Carlo and for Shanks to have a really strong partner to work with. For EG, and to be fair, like that kill on the AM shouldn't happen. I think Bacchus just has to respect some of that holdback. He is working towards the Abyssal, so these fights get a lot harder for Execration. And once that is up, like just having this instant lock in is going to be scary. They have so many ways to pop Lincolns anyway. Now they don't need to worry about the BKBs. Bob going for the Desolator is also rather intriguing. Going for the physical output here on the Ember. Maybe again just looking for the softer targets. Like Panda and Matthew are really big parts of these fights. So if you do manage to just have the Ember clear out the backline that much faster, I can see the value in that.
You know, C is actually the only region that still somewhat commonly does a Desolator build up to Ember. And the two biggest guys are Bob, which he does it more in non-official matches, like not DPC, right? Double buff and stuff. And Cox from Geek Slate is the other person that does it a lot as well.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I guess they feel really good about, because
Also kind of candy.
when you think of Southeast Asian mids, they do like to play pretty aggressive, right? Yopaj at his peak was like a hyper-aggressive player. Bob,
Yes.
as we saw earlier on, is just an insanely aggressive player as well. Execration, going for a sneak
Oh,
here.
Pakas. They found him with Searing Chains. He dispels it immediately.
Oh,
but Cookie
whoa,
catches him. It's once again Shanks setting up for the skill. Panda, he's just dessert right now. They got the main course already. They're full. 2 kills on Pakas straight after another. Whisper is now desperately coming to cut the wave. Guys, don't worry. I'll make space. It's all good. I did this for Ictor 1,000 times on Beast Coast.
Yeah, just trying to stall. You might be found out, like you're still chasing
No
a
way.
cookie.
Ooh, that was so close. Shanks is insane. It's crazy. The cookie feels like the easiest skill shot to land when Shanks is playing this set.
It doesn't feel difficult, but he knows which ping to cookie forward when it's facing the right way, and
It's so
still
slow as
starting.
well. And they
It
never
is.
avoid it because he always surprises them with like the right angle, the right out of vision. Very impressive.
Yeah, like that move on Pakaz, like he was mid animation for the blink out, just not fast enough, not early enough to bail, and now the high ground just melts the output from Palos, just way too high with the auras coming through from Tino. They won't go for too much more. Roshan is a longer spawn though. He's not gonna be able to instantly snipe that one out, but they've got good control on the map. 16 to 23, 9k lead for Execration. For EG, they're definitely not out of the game. What I'd like to see come out from them is like a big movement out with Fiendskate to be aggressive. Like a sneaky Fiendskate catching Execration off guard with a vision of the flare to kind of give you that information. That's where you can really catch Execration off guard, although they'll just go for a straightforward smoke.
Yeah, smoke on smoke. Matthew starts flying. Aspakas. He gets rid of the golem first, but he might even put himself in a precarious position. They know
No
the cookie
way.
once again. Shanks
No
is
way.
the Pakas killer. He has his number, his Instagram, his Facebook, his MySpace at this rate. Panda dies as well because if his carry dies, Panda feels the need to die too. And Sisma, I mean, this would actually be an impressive kill if they get him. He's the high ground defense. Sisma doesn't have anything. He can't activate his BKB. He's out of mana. And Palos turned into the AM. Matthew saves him. There's the cards as well. Pushing Palos back. Lincoln's though will proc so to make sure the Athos does not sentence him to death.
Yeah. And it forces the fortification early, so they'll switch up over to top. They're going to be able to find a Rax. Whisper?
Okay. I think they get 2 lanes for this, if not all 3. They're staggering the deaths on EG, man. Now when Vakas comes back, you don't have a bat laner to back you up.
That's massive. No threat of lasso, no threat to pullback to isolate one key hero in these fights. And you're right, they're going for 3 lanes of Rax. They're going for the Megas here on Execration. Nothing to stop them from EG. EG just pouring in one by one. I mean, they forced the smoke out, but just not really able to play aggressive with the Underlord. That's just one thing I feel like if you play the Underlord, you have to maximize that spell. Like, it's so weird to say. They call it GG.
Okay.
I can't fault the side of EG. I think Execration play a phenomenally aggressive game, but I'm not taking away from EG. I think they played a really good game as well. It's just this surprise factor from Shanks pinning Pakas every time. Like, it's just not something you expect. You expect something like a Sight of Vice to pin the AM. You expect like a Hex from Lion or a Shadow Shaman
Yes.
or a Roar. It was none of that.